Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Evolvepreneur Secret Show for entrepreneurs, and I'm your host, Brian Silverthorne. And it's always my mission to help entrepreneurs make a difference with their businesses and to navigate the sometimes messy worlds of startup, growth, or relaunch. And today we're going to dig deep with our guest and get you some great concepts and strategies to fast track your business. And our special guest today is Maryan Bova, and Maryan is a founder of Eden Rock Coaching and Consulting, and she brings 27 years of experience in the health, personal development, and positive psychology industry to her current work. Welcome to the show, Maryan.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you very much for having me, and I'm excited to have a conversation this morning about all things entrepreneurship.
Good, good. I'm happy to have you here, and we're ready to get started. So we're gonna do this thing in 10 minutes or less,
Yeah.
but we're gonna have fun while we're doing it. So where are you hanging out?
Well, I'm in Sydney, Australia, and in a
Okay.
place a lot of people know Manly, which is very much a very popular tourist destination for the beach, the sand, the bodies, the entertainment. So yeah, I'm born and bred here pretty much. So yeah, I love it. It's a great place to bring up kids. Yeah,
Good,
beautiful.
good.
Yes, the equivalent
So
to your California, I think.
that could be, yeah, lots of things to do in a great climate.
Yeah.
So let's get to the good stuff here. So who's your ideal client?
My ideal client, Brian, is I guess when you've kind of walked a certain journey yourself, you acquire a lot of tools and skills and strategies that is great to be able to share. So, being a mum myself of three children, my ideal client is looking at the women that have been in their particular careers and looking at career transition and the challenges that they tend to face as they are looking at moving from something that perhaps they've done since they've left school and now they've had time to assess and actually wanting to do something completely different and really sort of holding them as they transition over to different career spaces. So,
Okay, great.
yeah, a lot of women in their 35 to 45 is where I find that it tends to show up.
Okay, well, that's a pretty good, thorough definition. So what's the problem that you solve for them?
The problem I solve is managing their time, managing their belief, and really sort of being, I guess, that point of contact that they can keep coming back to help them continue to build the belief that it is actually possible. Because that's half the problem. It's like, can I actually do this whilst I'm managing all my other hats?
Yeah, I get that. So kind of self-belief and mindset thing, right?
Massively. And it does come, you never want to use, I wouldn't call it the excuse, but just the fact that mums in particular do have particular challenges to face, and feeling that by spending time on creating a new business is robbing the time that they have with their children. What I really want people to understand is that if you find that you stay in a career that, yes, it pays bills, yes, it does tick some boxes for sure. If you've come to a point where you're finding internally you're tending to flatline, that you are sort of becoming a smaller version of yourself, your kids are actually getting that now. When you do light up, what I've found is when you do start creating the new business, when you are getting some runs on the board, when you are lit up, when you are making a difference and you're feeling more passionate, your kids are actually experiencing you in that. So, yes, there's going to be some rocky moments, but they actually get more of you and you are more of that role model that, we're all sort of 24/7 conscious of, as, am I showing up as a good role model for my kids? So kind of traversing that journey, you feel like you're robbing your kids, but in essence, you are actually giving them more on that side.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So we got about 6.5 minutes left. So what are your ideal client symptoms? What's going on in their lives that cause them to reach out to you for help?
Great question. So one is burnout. They're getting burnout in their current role. They're not feeling like they're actually adding value. The setup of their work is not ideal with how it plays out with their family life, and they're starting just to feel despondent themselves. So they're looking for a roadmap of how they can actually really create something real and tangible in a new business, and how that looks like.
Okay. So that they come to you for a diagnosis then. So once you get started, once you get
I
started
get my
working with them,
stethoscope out and check their blood
right.
pressure. It's usually
Yeah.
through the roof.
So what are the most common mistakes that your clients are making that you discover when you get started working with them?
Isolating.
In
Isolating in the sense that they are not reaching out for help and delegating a lot of the things that someone else is really happy to do for them. So, that can be something as simple as getting someone to clean the house.
Yeah.
It could be, there's so many different companies out there now that, and this is certainly my thing, is I'm not a tech person whatsoever. So if someone can help you with the marketing side of things, is there, when I got my website up and running, I originally spent $4,500 on it when I first started in coaching. It looked great, but I needed the marketing leg. This time around, I had a guy that was really keen to, that was what he wanted to do for his business. So I paid him to build my website. He did a fabulous job. Really happy with it. Got great feedback. And it was a fraction of that price. So who do you know in your circle? Put it out there, on your Facebook group, friends, or wherever you tend to be on social media, who would like to help me do XYZ? Who wants a project to do? Sort of, you don't need a whole lot of money to kind of get cracking.
Okay, great. So we got about 3.5 minutes left, but we're doing fine. So if someone is considering reaching out to you, what's one action that they could take that'll help them out now? Won't solve all their problems, but what's a good way for them to get started?
Get a big piece of butcher paper and write in the middle what exactly you feel like you're aiming for, what it is, and just get some music on, whatever floats your boat, and just start brainstorming, all the different legs of all the different parts of it. So you start to tap into that bit of creativity, and then you can then start to see what is a no-brainer for you that's just you could do standing on your head, and what is it that you need to outsource, and start looking at a bit of a timeline.
Oh, excellent. So individual personal brainstorming. I like that.
Yeah.
So
I have a lot of butcher paper.
there you go. So since all entrepreneurs have challenges, even the ones that are 6, 7, and 8-figure earners. So what's your biggest challenge right now?
My biggest challenge is momentum and creating. So for instance, I ran a couples bootcamp retreat some time ago. It was really transformative, really high value. It was then getting momentum and to keep myself, create little anchors to make sure that the next one happens, the next one happens. I was doing it silo, and that probably was part of my reason for not moving forward. So I have partnered up with another coach, and we've just recently run a women's retreat over the weekend, and we've already got the date in for the next one, and we've figured out how it's going to work. So I found actually collaborating is helping with momentum.
Excellent. So where can people go to find you?
Okay, so you can go to Eden Rock, which is EDENROC, Eden Rock Coaching and Consulting.com. And I'm there.
Excellent. So, one last thing. What's one question I should have asked?
One question you should have asked. What happens when I feel like I want to pack it all in, and what the heck am I doing?
Okay, so Maryann, what happens when you feel like you want to pack it all in and wonder what you're doing?
Great question, Brian. Thanks for asking. You're good.
Yeah, it came from a good source.
I look around my bookshelf. I look at my little podcast list. I look at the things that I talk about with my kids. I look at the circle of friends I have and what is the common denominator. And for me, it's about, I find just scattered all through my life is everything around personal development. My personal journey is my signature in the sense of how I've got from, where I was to where I am now. And those are the things that really are quite passionate. I don't have books on how to build a race car like my brother does. I don't have books on painting. I have personal development books. I have the personal journey story books. And I have had that. My first book that I read was somebody's personal story about going from challenge to victory. So it's in my veins. It's in my blood. I'm in a helping profession. I've been in it for 27 years. So this is just another extension of that. So it's, you know what, it's kind of like surrendering to, all right, it's in me. And it's my job then to really sort of give what I can.
Great. That's a great way to end things, to give what you can. Figure out what it is that you have to give, but then give what you can.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a wrap on another great guest episode of the Evolvepreneur Secret Show for entrepreneurs with our guest, Maryan Bova. And before you go, if you liked it, we'd appreciate you giving us a 5-star review and maybe share it with a couple of friends to spread the word. If you want to make sure that you don't miss any future episodes, you can go to evolvepreneursecrets.show. And if you're an entrepreneur, get your next best idea started today.